From getting arrested by the police to denying his own kid, here are 6 ridiculous things you for sure did not know about Wizkid. At number 6, something Wizkid would not like you to know is that his GP in school cannot send SMS on MTN.
What is the fight for?
You know how curious fans can get when they love or hate you? Somehow they found out that Wizkid initially attended LASU before dropping out in his second year to join Leeds University, where he also dropped out. According to this document, Wizkid's GP at LASU was a terrible 0.92. One can only wonder how he writes his own songs.
Confess.
Wizkid may be the best, just not at school. But we're not done yet, because at number 5, Starboy got arrested because of weed. The man loves his weed. He is known to smoke anywhere and anytime, even during interviews. And in October 2014, it landed him in trouble during one of his visits to Kenya. He was staying at a hotel with a no smoking policy in Nairobi and was even informed beforehand. But Ayo loves his weed more than anything, and no one can tell him what to do, except Tony Alumelu. The man puffed so much smoke that night that the hotel called the police on him. He was charged 50,000 Kenyan shillings before he was carted away by the police. Soon after, he posted bail and shortly was on his way home. But getting arrested is nothing compared to the scandal at number 4 between him, his baby mama, and his second son. You may see them looking loved up and cute in the media these days, but what you don't know is that Wiz initially wanted absolutely nothing to do with that boy.
I feel bad lying to you, I didn't make them actually. Like a split second I thought, nah, I can't even be.
Although the boy looked like him, even from a very young age, Wiz was having none of it. In his defense, he didn't want to get played like this.
You are not the father.
However, in the end, he opted for a DNA test upon the insistence of his baby mama. Thanks to that test, we witnessed a beautiful bond develop over the years, but that bond would have never existed if not for a miraculous escape from a car crash that nearly snuffed out Wizkid's life. Back in 2013, lines were beginning to fall in pleasant places for Starboy. He was making so much money that spending 10 million naira on a Porsche was routine to him. One night, after partying for hours at an event hosted by one of his endorsement sponsors in a hotel in Lagos, Wizkid got into a crash that left everyone wondering how someone walked out alive. Crazy. What's crazier is that Wizkid not only walked out alive, but went to a car dealership and bought the same exact car just a few days later. Now that's a flex. Speaking of flexes, Burna won a Grammy first among the big 3. Davido probably spends more on cars than a small local government in Nigeria spends on food in a month. But having a full day named after you in a country as popular as the US is an even bigger flex. In 2018, the state of Minneapolis declared 6th October as Wizkid's Day in recognition of his talents and achievements. One of them being that he was the first African artist to sell out the Skywalk Theatre in Minneapolis. In fact, the declaration was made public through a stamped document signed by the governor of Minnesota himself. Now that's huge, something Wizkid is definitely proud of. But what he won't brag about is what he did at number 1. In 2018, he signed a deal with sports gear giant Nike. Shortly after, He announced he wanted to build a school in every country in Africa, with him solely pocketing the expenses from his profits from the deal. It was his way of giving back to the society and also to solidify his legacy. He asked fans to suggest countries where he would launch the initiative. Wiz, to the shock of so many, went back on his words. Even Foundation we did not see. In fact, he deleted the post of his statement on Twitter and has since not spoken on it. Maybe Nike didn't send funds, or maybe something came up.